राम राम हरे हरे,
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे,
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे,
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे,
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे,
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे,
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे,
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे,
जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी, जय गोपी जन वल्लभ, जय गिरिवरधारी,
जय राधा माधव जय कुंज विहारी, जय गोपी जन वल्लभ, गिरिवरधारी,
जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी, जय गोपी जन वल्लभ, गिरिवरधारी,
जय राधा माधव जय कुंज विहारी, जय गोपी जन वल्लभ, जय Hare Ram, Hare Rama, Rama Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Ram, Hare Hare.
Jaya Radha Madhava, Jaya Kunja Vihari, Jaya Gopi Janvallabha, Jaya Girivardhari.
Jai Radha Madhava, Jai Kunja Vihari, Jai Gopi Janvallabha,
Hare Krishna. So, very warm welcome to all of you for today's session on the Srimad Bhagavatam. We'll start our session with the prayers. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya. Naram Chaiva Narottamam. Devim Saraswatim Vyasam. ततो जयमुदीरयेत् नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवति उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी. So we discussed in our previous session about the attributes. In fact, in the last few shlokas, we have been discussing about what are the attributes which a devotee must possess, especially attributes of a genuine devotee who wants to advance in Krishna Bhakti. So, what attributes he must possess? So, Bhagwan Kapil, because in this chapter he is explaining about loving devotional service or bhakti. So, in the previous few shlokas, Bhagwan Kapil spoke about that what a devotee should do, what are the actions, what are the activities a pure devotee does. So in the beginning, he spoke about my pure devotee always finds pleasure in glorifying me. He goes to the temple, does worship of the Lord in the temple. That also we discussed. Then Bhagwan Kapil talks about those who are one who is my pure devotee, one who wants to advance in bhakti. He associates with pure devotees, acharyas, and he very strictly worships his spiritual master. He is an ardent follower of his guru. So all these things were basically attributes of devotees. What a pure devotee should do, what should be his consciousness, all these things. And in the previous session, Bhagwan Kapil talks about a very special aspect or very special qualities of pure devotees. He says that he must be Adhyatmika Anushravanam. He should always hear about Adhyatma or Krishna, and he also takes pleasure in Mama Sankirtana, my glorification, my chanting. He is very simple. Arjave Narya means very simple, and Sange Nirahankriya. He gives up bad association. He only associates with advanced devotees, and finally he says that Bhagwan Kapil talks about that my devotee is Nirahankriya. He has no ahankar. He works, he develops real ego and he gives up false ego. So these are some attributes which we discussed in previous few shlokas. Now today we'll begin our discussion with text 19, shloka number 19 of the 29th chapter of the third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Now this is a very important chapter, that's why we are covering it in great detail. We are going into depth of every shloka because all these words are spoken by Bhagwan Kapil himself. So Bhagwan Kapil, he his words about Bhakti Yoga are very special for all the devotees. And that is why this Sankhya Yoga is very important, because Sankhya Yoga talks about the pure aspect of Bhakti Yoga. Just like Bhagavad Gita talks about Bhakti Yoga, Sankhya Yoga also talks about Bhakti Yoga only. So we'll begin our discussion today with text 19, Shloka number 19. मदधर्मणो गुणैरेतैः परिसंशुद्ध आशयः पुरुषस्याञ्जसाभ्येति श्रुतमात्रगुणम् इमाम्. मदधर्मणो गुणैरेतैः परिसंशुद्ध आशयः पुरुषस्याञ्जसाभ्येति श्रुतमात्रगुणम् इमाम्. Translation: when one is fully qualified with all these transcendental attributes, and his consciousness is thus completely purified, he is immediately attracted simply by hearing my name or hearing of my transcendental quality. Now you see, what is Bhagwan Kapil saying here? So Bhagwan Kapil is saying, Mad Dharmano Gunair Etai. Mad Dharmano. Dharmano means a person who knows Dharma. And which Dharma? Mad Dharmano. Mad Dharmano means the Dharma of Lord Krishna. So who will be Dharmano? A pure devotee, isn't it? So Mad Dharmano. So my Dharmano, that means my devotee, गुणाय रहता है. गुणाय रहता है. So my devotee with these qualities, with these attributes, which Bhagwan Kapil described in the previous few shlokas, which we just now discussed. So he's saying that Mad Dharmano Gunaya Reta hai. So because of the qualities which I have described in the previous shlokas, because of these qualities, because of these attributes, because of these characteristics, Parisamshuddha Ashaya, my devotee becomes completely purified. Parisamshuddha, Samshuddha means fully pure, fully purified, completely purified. Okay. So what happens once he is completely purified? Purushasya bheti. Purushasya. Purushasya anjasa. Anjasa means just at that time, immediately. Anjasa means immediately. Bheti means to approach Krishna or to be attracted to Krishna. Shruta matra gunam hima. Shruta matra. Matra means simply by hearing. Shruta means hearing. Matra means just simply, very quickly. So Shruta matra gunam hima. So just by hearing gunam hima, my qualities and my attributes, just guna means the qualities of Krishna, the glorification of Krishna. So just by hearing my glorification, he approaches me, he attains me. But Once he possesses these attributes and once he is completely purified, then he is able to attain me, then he is able to attract me, and he is also attracted to me. Gunamhima. So Gunamhima means he develops divine qualities. He develops qualities which are very, very, which are divine. Sutamantagunamhima, Purushacha, Bhyeti. Abhyeti means a devotee immediately gets attracted to Krishna. So basically in this shloka, Bhagavan Kapil is saying that once a devotee develops all these attributes, then a time comes when he attains liberation. Even in this material world, he attains liberation. Why? Because he is not attracted to anything material. Why? Shuta matra gunamya. Just he is only attracted to my shuta, my glorification, nothing else. That is what liberation means. Material attraction means material bondage. Materially detached means no attraction to matter means liberation. Right? So this is the secret. So as soon as a devotee hears about Krishna and his glories, a devotee is immediately a devotee is immediately here it is said parisamshuddha. Once he is completely purified, once he develops these attributes and he is completely purified, then what happens? A devotee is automatically attracted to Krishna's glories. Automatically. Actually, it may look like this is very simple language which Bhagwan Maharaj Parikshit is using. Right? So a devotee is not attracted to anything material. Right? Because what happens is in this material world, every living entity is constantly bombarded by the three modes of material nature. Constantly, he's under the influence of the three modes of material nature. So, what happens when a devotee or when a human being is or when a living entity is constantly in touch with matter? What happens? Gradually, he develops distaste in material things, right? In material association, he has taste of material things. Like just now we were discussing that the three modes of material nature constantly bombard a person. He is always influenced by the three modes. So till he is under the influence of the three modes, so when a devotee is under the influence of the material modes, the three modes of material nature, he becomes contaminated. His consciousness becomes contaminated. We will talk little bit more or little uh, detailed understanding we'll get when we read the next shloka because both shlokas are interrelated. Okay. So here it is mentioned that a devotee is automatically attracted to Krishna. Okay. A devotee is automatically attracted to Krishna. When? That also is mentioned. When Parisamshuddha Achaya, when his consciousness is completely purified. And And when a devotee has all the attributes which are described in the previous shlokas, an attribute means those attributes which Krishna desires or which Bhagwan Kapil has described in the previous shlokas, not material attributes. No. Here Bhagwan Kapil is talking about spiritual attributes which he has spoken in the previous few shlokas. So those kind of attributes when a devotee develops, you know, then he Purushasyangasabhyeti. Then as soon as he hears Purushasya means the glories of Krishna. As soon as he hears the glories of Krishna, Shrutam Tatra Gunamimam, he is immediately attracted to them. So Shruta Matra Gunamimam. So this spontaneous attraction, this is called spontaneous attraction. There are some attractions which have a cause because every time we meet someone and we get attracted, that's okay, that's natural. But here what is mentioned is that a devotee he is Parisamshuddha Ashaya. He is fully purified. So this purified state of a pure devotee, that is what is the meaning of a pure devotee. A person who is fully purified, he has no material attraction, he has no material consideration. His only goal of life is to serve Krishna. Because that is our constitutional position. It's not that he is doing something special. No. Every living entity has to do that. Every living entity is doing that in the spiritual world. We have fallen from there, just few living entities. Right? So So purification of the heart is what is required to become a pure devotee. Purification, pure heart. No other desire than the desire of Krishna. No other talk than the talk of Krishna. Nothing else except Krishna. Life of a devotee completely revolves around Krishna. He does no other work. His only goal is to satisfy Krishna, no other work. So these qualities which are described by Bhagwan Kapil in the previous shlokas, the conclusion is given in this shloka. That once a devotee develops all these transcendental qualities, then so the consciousness of a devotee is what matters because symptom of the spirit soul is consciousness. And this consciousness never changes. Spirit soul is eternal and the spirit soul is unchangeable. Krishna talks about it in the Bhagavad Gita. Avyakto yam achintyo yam avikaryo yam uchyate. So there is no uh, there's no change. Spirit soul is eternal. Eternal with the spirit soul is exactly like that. Never changes. So consciousness is the symptom of the soul, and soul is unchangeable. Now, there is transmigration from one body to another. Everyone has to leave his body. And those who are not, as of now, eligible, they have to take up another body. So then, does this attraction go away? Because here it is said that such a devotee, he is attracted to me. So how this transmigration happens, how the spirit soul with consciousness, because consciousness is one of the symptom of the soul. And the symptom of consciousness is activity, desires, isn't it? So consciousness is one of the aspect of the spirit soul. Okay. So how this happens? Because here it is mentioned by Bhagwan Kapil that a devotee, he purusha sanj sabhyeti. A devotee is immediately attracted to me. A devotee is immediately uh, he's spontaneously attracted to Krishna. He's spontaneously attracted to bhakti. He's spontaneously attracted to loving devotion, prema bhakti. So, how does it happen? And is there a process by which even after transmigration this happens? Let us see. So that will be covering in the next shloka. Text 20, shloka number 20. यथावातरथो घ्राणम् आवृत्ते गंध आशयात एवं योगरतं चेत आत्मानम् अविकार्यत. यथा वातरथो घ्राणम् आवृत्ते गंध आशयात एवं योगरतं चेत आत्मानम् अविकार्यत. Translation: as the chariot of air carries an aroma from its source and immediately catches the sense of smell, similarly, one who constantly engages in devotional service in Krishna consciousness can catch the Supreme Soul who is equally present everywhere. Now you see, very beautiful example. So beautiful example Bhagwan Kapil is giving here to substantiate this point of Prema Bhakti. Such a beautiful example. So what is Bhagwan Kapil saying here? You see, Yatha Vat Ratho. Rath means carrier or chariot, you can say. Actually, Rath means chariot or you can say vehicle. Vehicle. So Yatha Vat Rath. Vat Rath means vehicle of air. Okay. Yatha Vat Ratho Granam. Granam means the Granam means the sense of smell, or you can say how smell of each and every spirit soul is different. Right. So here in the shloka, Bhagavan Kapil is saying that yatha vasaratho ghanam avrinkte. So Vatarat, that means the carrier of air, Gran Avrinkte. Avrinkte means attracts or it pulls out, attracts basically. Gandha Ashayat. It attracts aroma from an object. So basically it's an analogy, it's an example given to substantiate bhakti. So and a carrier of air or a chariot of air carries the sense of smell. Sense of smell means the, you can say, sense object, which is aroma, or you can say odor. Okay. Gandha ashayat, from the source of aroma, isn't it? Air, carrier of air means basically air only. Air is present everywhere in this whole creation, isn't it? Air is present everywhere in the whole creation. But at some places, air, when it passes, it carries aroma. Air, when it passes through a very aromatic object, an object which has very good aroma. So what happens? Air immediately catches that aroma, isn't it? Immediately air catches that aroma. That's why if we are standing near a very nice smelling object, after some time we see that aroma of the tree or that flower, if air is flowing towards us, the air will carry that aroma towards us, isn't it? So air, that carrier of air, here that's why the word Vatarat is used. Vatarat means the carrier of air or the carrier of aroma of air. So what happens? Air from the source. Suppose if I'm standing near a rose tree, a rose flower is there, and I'm standing near a rose tree. So what will happen? The air will flow from the tree towards me, and it will carry aroma from the rose flower. It carries aroma from the rose flower, and when it flows towards me, I will also be able to smell that aroma of the rose flowers, isn't it? Right. So air is the carrier. That's what is mentioned. Vatarat. So air is the carrier of what? Of gandh. Gandh means aroma. And who is the source? The source also is given here. The rose flower is the source. Air or the chariot of air is the carrier. Now rose is also there. The rose is there only. The rose flower is there only. And next, you see, after some time, if there is heavy rainfall or heavy wind, the rose tree may get uprooted. It may, whatever may happen to it. But the aroma right? So air is the carrier, rose is the source of fragrance, and I am the destination. If I am standing near a rose tree, so air will carry that aroma towards me. And then I will know, oh, there's a very nice smell which is coming from this rose tree. Is it? So similarly, you see in this shloka it is mentioned, Evam yogavam. Now you see, in the previous part of the shloka, Vata word is used. That means on the chariot of air. That means on the carrier of air. So the main part of this example is given in the second part. Evam yoga. So just like carrier of air carries aroma from the source to the destination, similarly, evam yogaratam. Yogarat means a pure devotee of Krishna who is yogarat. Yogarat means he is fully engaged in yoga. So for a devotee who is fully engaged in yoga, a devotee who is engaged in yoga rata means bhakti yoga. Rat means basically to be engaged. So yoga rata means to be engaged. So just like air carries aroma from a source object to the destination object when the air is blowing, similarly, yoga cheta. So the consciousness, cheta means consciousness. So yoga cheta. So eva means similarly. So similarly, yoga cheta. That means yoga means devotee, a pure devotee of Krishna who is engaged in yoga. So similarly, a devotee, his consciousness, atmanam avikariyat. So a devotee who is yoga rat, who is engaged in bhakti, yoga means union with Krishna. So a devotee who is engaged in union with Krishna, who is engaged in bhakti towards Krishna, atmanam avikariyat. The soul is avikari, the soul is unchangeable. Right. So just like air carries aroma from source to destination, similarly, yoga ratam cheta, the consciousness of a pure devotee carries that devotee towards the next body. It's the consciousness which gives us the next body. So, very beautiful example that just like air carries aroma from source to destination, similarly, the consciousness carries the spirit soul from one body to another. Cheta. Cheta means consciousness, right? And Yogaratam Cheta means what? Yogaratam Cheta. Because if you see in the previous shloka, Bhagavan Kapil talks about that my pure devotee is spontaneously attracted to me. So how that attraction continues life after life, that is mentioned here. Because Yogaratam, because he is always engaged in yoga, so that is why. So the consciousness of a pure devotee Because you see, spirit soul never changes. Avyaktoyam abhikaryoyam. So Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita that avyaktoyam abhikaryoyam. Nainam chinnanti shastrani, naino dahati pavaka. So many attributes Krishna is giving about spirit soul in the Bhagavad Gita. Because only Krishna can tell about the spirit soul, no one else can. So Lord Krishna, he says in the Bhagavad Gita that avyaktoyam abhikaryam. So spirit soul never changes. Avinashi tu tadvidhi yena sarvamidam tatam. Avinashi. It's indestructible. Spirit soul never changes. Remains the same. So it's the consciousness which is responsible for transmigration from one body to another. But what happens in case of devotee? In case of devotee, because he is yoga, because he is engaged in bhakti of Krishna, so a devotee, whether in this body or in the next body, he is naturally attracted to Krishna. His attraction to Krishna never goes away. Those attributes, if you remember in the previous shloka, Bhagwan Kapil, what is he saying? You see, let us go to the previous shloka. You can see on your screen. Mad dharmanu gunayarete parisamshuddha ashay. Mad dharmanu gunayar. The guna, the quality, the attributes, the characteristics of a pure devotee. What happens to him if he leaves his body? You see, it is mentioned here. Evam yogratam cheta atmanam avikariyat. The spirit soul of a devotee never changes. So spirit soul is avikari. Spirit soul never changes. It's the body which changes. Consciousness will change. Why? Because consciousness is materially contaminated, isn't it? So when consciousness is completely purified, consciousness will have its his original attributes of a devotee, and that pure consciousness gets carried from one body to another. So consciousness can be contaminated. Spirit soul is never, he is never contaminated because spirit soul is part and parcel of Krishna. Consciousness is a symptom of the spirit soul. So as soon as a living entity enters into this material existence, his consciousness becomes contaminated with matter. He himself does not get contaminated ever. Right? So that contaminated consciousness is responsible for transmigration from one body to another. And that is why in different bodies, a living entity, because it carries consciousness from the previous body. So the number of bodies a living entity takes, the more the consciousness keeps getting contaminated. Right? But still, If consciousness is purified, if consciousness has, if the consciousness of a devotee is pure, and all the attributes which Bhagwan Kapil described in the previous few shlokas, if those attributes have developed in a devotee, then what will happen? The consciousness will carry those attributes in the next body. And that is why body will change, spirit soul will not change. And the attributes which a devotee has developed in this life will get carried into the next body. And because of those attributes, a devotee will naturally be attracted to Krishna. He will attract Krishna and he will be attracted to Krishna Katha and Krishna, the chanting and glorifying of Krishna. You see? So very beautifully Bhagavan Kapil describes this here, that just like air carries aroma from the source to destination, similarly, our consciousness carries our attributes from the source body to the destination body. And in this context, because we are talking about attributes of a pure devotee, so even although pure devotees don't go to the next, they don't get a material body, but they get a spiritual body. So the same attributes which they have developed, because of which they have become pure devotees, they directly get spiritual body. So all these attributes get carried into that spiritual body. And if a devotee has to take another body, no problem. The consciousness is pure, and consciousness is purified by pure attributes. So consciousness carries those attributes into the next body. So soul never changes, it's the body which changes. So that is why the goal of human life is to have our consciousness purified completely. Because when our consciousness is fully purified, we are naturally attracted to Krishna. And these attributes will take us to the next body, which is our spiritual body. Because spiritual body means our spiritual self, we as a spirit soul. And we also are naturally attracted to Krishna. And the best and the way how to do that is described by Bhagavan Kapil in the previous few shlokas. Chanting and glorifying Krishna, going to a temple of Krishna, doing worship of the temple, worship of the Lord in the temple. So all these attributes purify a person and they develop purity of a person. A person becomes pure and these same attributes carries the person to the next body. And that's how he goes back to home, back to Krishna in the next life. That is the goal of human life. So those who are new to the channel can subscribe. All of you can like, comment, share. We'll stop here. We'll continue our discussion in the next session. Try to listen to this session, especially because I was going a little slow. I was not going very fast. Why? So that all of you can understand it nicely. This example is very important for all of us to understand that whatever attributes we develop in this life, pure consciousness which we develop in this life, it will get carried into the next body. If we become fully pure in this life, we will get carried to the next body in that fully purified form. Okay. And if a devotee has become pure devotee, then he will get his spiritual body. He will revive his spiritual body. So all this we'll discuss a little more in the upcoming few sessions. That is what we are seeing here. So thank you very much all of you for coming for today's session. Hare Krishna.